Recently, a so-called man of God, Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, who claims to hear from the creator of the universe, whom they of course call God, the all-knowing, all-powerful, ruler of all, prophesied that the elections in Botswana would be won by Mokgweetsi Masisi, but the outcome was the opposite. Opposition leader won those elections. So this has prompted a lot of people to question the credibility of this Bushiri or any of these people that prophesy. The question that we need to really understand is that these people really are not on their own. They've got a spirit of a deity, and they've learned how to use these deities for predictions. A deity is a god, a goddess in a polytheistic religion, and all religions are polytheistic. There is no monotheistic religion on earth today. The question that we need to know and we need to ask ourselves is, are there major prophecies we were given from credible sources that have come to pass, but today we've forgotten some of them that are coming to pass in the future? Chilling prophecies forgotten. Let's look into this. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel, Amiti Buru Ethics, and let us walk this journey together. Also enroll into our bound foundations. It is very important for us to understand that the term prophecy involves the past, the present, and the future, and that African seers and prophets were able to prophesy that which is happening today and that which will happen in the future. These chilling prophecies forgotten, black prophecy, come from a certain source, and this source is close to the waters of Nyunyu and sometimes goes back into the waters of Nyunyu. Today we want to look at the sources of these prophecies and look at what has happened. The Emerald Tablet of Jikahuti for Atlantis has chilling African prophecies that echo, and they've echoed throughout the ages, but have been deliberately toned out. Shocking but true, they are found in many books, and they are true ancient African prophecies that warn of our collapse, of our demise, coming from clear-cut, clear-minded African seers and prophets who saw today's events and future events clearly. Let's look at the issue of the Emerald Tablet of Atlantis that teaches and speaks about the far issues in the past before Atlantis even existed. That is almost 20 or 36,000 years ago. Existed men who delved into darkness using dark magic, calling up beings from the great deep below us in lower dimensions. Forth came they into this cycle. Formless were they of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of men, earthmen. Only through blood could they have formed a being. Only through men could they live in the world. Now, when we go to the Hermetica, we know the popular prophets that we have always been uttering on this channel, where we know that the gods, the good ones, will depart from mankind, a grievous thing, and only evil angels will remain, who will mingle with men and drive the poor wretches by main force into all manner of reckless crime, into wars, robberies, and frauds, and all things hostile to the nature of the soul. So that is the soul that is in question here. Now, when we look at the ancient darkness again from the Emerald Tablet of Jikahute, we realize that we are taught that, know ye, O men, that all of the future is an open book to him who can read. But this is jewel. It's very deep here. All effects shall bring forth its causes, as all effects grew from the first cause, the waters of Nyunyu. Know ye, the future is not fixed or stable, but varies as cause brings forth an effect. So you can change any prophecy to suit your liking in your individual life or as a nation. Look into the cause thou shalt bring into being, and surely thou shalt see that which you have wrought. The portals of the unknown are opened by those who have dared to speak the words. So if you are not smart, That's why you follow these Bushiris. That's why you follow these prophets. That's why you follow these Muslims. That's why you follow other people and ignore yours, because your portals have been opened. It's very, very important to understand that. Before humanity walked on the earth, we understand the origins of prophecy, chilling prophecies that have been forgotten, written by many African sages, specifically the African god Jikahute. If you read our book, Free from God, it will show you the progression of humanity and other prophecies and other teachers and all the forgotten prophecies and ancient African history that is very, very spiritual indeed, not just historical. In his prophecies, Jikahute speaks of dark brothers who summoned beings from another realm or dimension by misusing mystical knowledge and energies. These beings, described as formless and of a different vibration, required human intervention and energy to take physical form on this planet, on the earth, because they cannot exist in this dimension. These chilling prophecies is a lot of teaching on us guarding our own portals. Listen to what Jikahute says. Guard ye the secrets, I live with thee, and surely my spirit will guard thee through life. So if you guard your portal, if you protect your soul, if you protect your divine spark, you will have a spirit coming upon you, because your willpower is so powerful. No divinity, no God can bend it, but they can trick you to allow them to come into you. So know ye that thy body is nothing but semblance of thyself. So you make yourself. Flesh is nothing, the soul is the all. That's a powerful saying there. Never give heed to the bond of the flesh, for only it is an illusion that holds thee from life. Keep thy eyes ever on the light, and know that as long as you do so, you shall be one with the all. Beware of the dark ways and avoid the traps of evil entities that lie within hidden portals. So don't go into this spiritual. Don't think that Christians, Muslims and Jews, they don't have a spirit. They have a spirit, an evil spirit. That's why they follow that which destroyed our ancestors. Even some of our own, they induce fear. So that's why if you criticize certain religions, you are scared. They will kill you. This is how they operate. Only African spirituality does not care and does not really worry about what you do, what you believe, and so forth. But all the rulers of darkness in ancient times, they were conquered by masters, driven below to the place whence they came. But some there were who remained hidden in spaces and the plains unknown to men, lived they in Atlantis as shadows, Mamepo, but at times they appeared among men, ghosts. When the blood was offered forth, came they to dwell among men. So human sacrifices. So Jikahute is urging us and anyone who possesses mystical knowledge to keep it secure, to avoid using it in any way that could open hidden portals to malevolent forces, to them or to the whole world. This is very, very important to understand. Now, on avoiding the soul trap, you must realize and remember that those evil angels that teach these things that are detrimental to your soul, you must remember them. And know ye men that the soul who dares the barrier may be held in bondage by the dark lords who dwell in Arulu, where the dark winds blow, Mamepo, and the evil fester, Mamepo, or shatter, or evil. Dare not go through the hidden portals, lest thou be enslaved by the darkness. Jikahute here is explicitly telling us and warning us that attempting to open hidden portals without proper knowledge, as doing so will cause your soul to be trapped, to become in bondage, to be under dark forces. This has happened in this world. Many places are operating in the realms of Arulu, which represents the dark dimension inhabited by these entities, which they call into their kingdom, because the kingdom of heaven is within you. So when you raise these portals, like raising the Jedi, especially the fourth dimension, you are likely to be trapped, and you need to avoid this soul trap. Now, these warnings from the lips of ancient African seers, whose words were once whispered in secret circles, now forgotten by the majority and many of the people on earth, must be remembered and acted on. Join us as we unearth these forgotten prophecies, these spectral visions of a future that casts a shadow, a dark and evil shadow. We want to delve into the cryptic texts together with you, the ominous omens and the chilling themes that foretold the decline of a once mighty African civilization, which is now on the earth, on the dust, on the ground, because we are the oldest civilization. African civilization is the only one in this whole world that spans into trillions of years. Don't listen to those that tell you of trillions of years. Yet it has experienced several periods of decline over its long history. However, the most important collapse is the one that is associated with the end of Hamitic civilization around 1550 and 1070, and from that time up to today we have been in decline. But the people that caused our decline know that the Afro civilization is the race of black men and women who today are slaves to a system on earth and the object of scorn all over the earth, with the very race to which humanity, all their arts, their sciences, even the use of speech. This is very important. The prophecy of Nefertiti, it tells us that the land is in distress and misery. Throughout all the land, a foreign bowman will face Africans. A pest will infect the land. People will be against one another. Political things that are happening, democracy so-called. The weak armed will possess the goods of the strong armed. So we are the strong race, but the weak ones have come with weapons. And now this was prophesied, it has happened. This was prophesied 2000 or 1600 BCE. And at that time, the prophet of Nefertiti tells us that there was a king who will come from the south, Ameni, true of voice, Makeru, his name, the son of a woman of the land of the Boer from southern Sudan today. He is a child of the heartland of the Nekeni, southern Sudan. He will take up the white crown, he will raise up the red crown, he will unite the two mighty goddesses, he will appease the two lords, God, with what they desire. The field secret is in his grasp and the oil in the jump. This is from M.R.E. Motep's post. And this pharaoh, Amenemhat I, did rise up, restored Maati. This is what our politicians should do. But they couldn't ignore Maati. The papyrus of Ipuere, Leiden 344, teaches us that the land is without light. Lo, the sun is vanished. It shines not for the people, which means we've lost the understanding of our divinities, specifically Ra. The river is dry. Foreigners have become people everywhere. Now, here, foreigners are now calling themselves melanin dominant. They are calling themselves real people. You see, the palace is in upheaval. Sorrow and lamentation are in its quarters. For indeed, the power of Ra is no longer with us, and Africa is bare and exposed. Very true prophecy. The land is in confusion. The north is in turmoil. The gods have decided the land. They suffered hunger. Indeed, there was no one to keep order. Foreigners have taken over Hamiti, have taken over Africa, have taken over South Africa, and our own leaders are sellouts. And the people will become strangers. We are strangers in our own land. That's why we are asked for passport to travel from Botswana to Zimbabwe, from Zimbabwe to Mozambique. I need a passport. Why? Because we are no longer in charge. We ignored Ma'at. The Great Harris Papyri is one of the longest. It's about 42 meters. It details how Ramesses III came before the gods in Memphis, Ptah, Sekhmet, and Nefertem. This is what we need in warrior leaders. Now, the dream stele of Thutmose tells us that I shall grant you my kingdom. All lands shall be yours. Only remember your duty to honor me, lest all my works fall to ruin and Hamid be lost. So to you, in your personal way, in your personal life, you are being asked to remember the divinities, to remember these primordial gods, just to remember them and to restore their honor. This is what Maati is all about. This is what Marfado is all about. Then the story of Wenamun says, behold, the mighty Hamid has lost its name. True. And its gods are powerless. True. Beyond its borders. True. The sea is wild and no land answers our call. True. The days of Africa's power fade like evening shadows. The arrival of the Niles people was prophesied by a prophet in southern Africa known as Chaminuka, We call him prophet, but he's not really a prophet, because the prophet is Abrahamic. We are using it in the sense of Abrahamic linguistics. He predicted the coming of white settlers, referring to them as Vasnamavi, because they wore trousers, which translates to those without means. The rise and fall of colonialism was also prophesied. He foresaw the colonial era and the eventual struggle for independence, the importance of unity and peace. And Chaminuka emphasized the need for unity amongst all melanin-dominant human beings. And his enduring spirit is still remembered today in various songs, music, and dance. Then we've got the Nzinga Angu, king of Congo in the 15th century, who was advised by his prophets and his teachers and his sages to avoid Christianity by all means. Unfortunately, he didn't, and he succumbed. And today, the history of the Congo is as painful as any other history. And then we've got in West Africa, we've got Kwame Anokia, Frimpong Katobre, Okomfo Anokoe, who was born miraculously, performed wonders, and despite his warnings that the Ashanti people and the people in West Africa should never trade with Europeans, but should kick them out, they ignored him. And Anokia's prophecies, including that about the entire Ashanti Empire's resilience and its failure if they allowed European trade and allowed Europeans to come. Okay. Mbianeanda, same story. And the recurring theme that we see across all these different sages is their warning about internal divisions and external threats, particularly the arrival of foreign powers and accepting foreign doctrines, foreign teachings. By foreign we mean non-melaninated doctrines, spirituality, and themes like what our pastors, our preachers, so-called powerful pastors, these black European missionaries now that have taken over what European missionaries did, black pale Arabs who are teaching us to ignore our mystic system and abandon our ways. This is what is being spoken against. Are we destined to repeat the mistakes of the past, or can we heed the warnings of our ancestors, of our sages, of our wise men, and our teachers? Before slavery and colonization, African sages, prophets, and so-called leaders at that time played significant roles in warning us of impending disasters and guiding us through spiritual insight to avoid certain messages, certain doctrines, certain behaviors, and the bad governance. And in public, as well as in your personal life, they taught us that we must keep Maati, we must restore Isintu, we must restore Unu, because Maati is our harmonious balance, is the God of our harmonious balance in African spirituality, that we should avoid Islam, Judaism, Christianity, and all false religions. These are chilling warnings indeed. It is important that you understand many of these warnings and understand these prophecies. To do so, you can enroll into our Bantu Foundations via our Bantu University. And we want to thank you so much for connecting to our channel, Hamiti Iburu Ethics YouTube channel, where we teach Afro salvation and where we say this is for the afterlife. And our goal is to win and never to lose. So these prophecies should be understood by everyone else. Ameni, Ameni, Amen Ra.